Another week in the books and a whole lot of...
Oh, come on!
Yeah. This is ridiculous.
It's bad.
It's getting borderline, excessive.
Yeah.
It's just to the point where if you have a good player on your team, he's going to get hurt.
Expect it.
Yeah, just wait for it. It's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, by the end of the year, we're going to be, playing a bunch of guys we've never even heard of before.
Man.
Well, welcome back. Next episode, Fantasy Headliners, coming at you week 7.
Yep.
Already, week 7. Full of injuries again in week 6. A whole lot of people going, no? Well, what am I going to do this week?
Yeah.
Me, myself, as an Aaron Rodgers owner, I'm like, maybe I'll go without a QB. I mean, it can't hurt. I mean, he got me 0 last week. It can't be any worse.
Yeah. That didn't turn out too well.
It didn't quite turn out so well. I don't want to say who I played this week, but I'm going to totally blame it because Aaron Rodgers got me 0 points.
Yeah. That's
despite the fact of losing by more than what Aaron Rodgers averages. Whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers, hates to see it. Broken collarbone.
Yeah.
Done for the year. Done for the fantasy year, anyway, depending on what goes on. I think they said that he was going in for surgery, which would end his year.
Yeah.
Another big name yesterday had a little bit of a tweak that everybody seems to be downplaying, but it's something we've talked about a lot in the past.
Yep.
It's the ankle of Mr. Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, I mean...
It looked bad.
It did.
It looked like he hyperextended his knee or something at first.
That was the first thought, yeah.
And he went down to the ground, and he was in pain.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he's had trouble with ankles in the past.
Yeah.
They're playing it off like, he could have come back in the game, or... All it takes is a little tweak to have something flare back up, and he's in trouble. And,
the way he runs, man, he's so violent when he runs, you know what I mean? So it's good and it's bad. It has pros and cons, but the con of it is situations like that. He's
a grown man.
Yeah.
He got grown man strength.
The dude, yeah.
I mean, it's nasty, but hopefully he escaped major injury. I think there's a name on our list here a little bit to pick up maybe just in case he's not.
Yes.
Jameis Winston also went out, right shoulder injury. Not clear at the extent of how long he's going to be out yet.
Yeah.
But, Emmanuel Sanders carted off with an ankle injury. I mean, these are just the main ones. Lots of other injuries, but, every week we get used to it now. This wasn't even supposed to be a topic on our show.
Right.
We never intended on talking about injuries other than the major ones. Every week we got to start off with it because everybody's hurt.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We did see something... I don't know if I can call it epic. The return of AD.
Yes, indeed.
The return of AD. Everybody was down on him. He's washed up.
Right.
He's done.
Yeah.
I myself, I didn't think he was done. I didn't expect what he did week 1 or the first week with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I mean, he got a ginormous workload for being on the team for like 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, he barely showed up and got his bags unpacked, and he's running for touchdowns.
Yeah.
It was cool to see, though.
It was.
It's kind of like vintage.
Yeah. It kind of gave you a little flashback of the old AD.
Kind of.
But I think it's a perfect situation for him, to be honest with you. Bruce Arians is going to, they need to run the ball. You know what I mean? The offensive line is starting to get healthy now, so I can see good things coming from this offense. I
think it kind of reinvigorated Larry Fitzgerald a little bit, too. He kind of got excited again.
Right.
I mean, and Larry had like $130 at half. I thought he was going for $2 bills.
And Palmer looked good, man.
Palmer looked good.
It's a return of the old guys.
Man, it is. It's like the all-elderly team.
Right.
It's like the 1997 Pro Bowl roster.
Man.
But no, they look pretty good. Like I said, Peterson looked great.
Yeah.
We'll get in here to some names, but, just because a lot of people are down on certain people, don't be afraid to take a chance. Yes, there were some things that we got right this week, and yes, there were some things we got wrong, but, I know one of the things we talked about last week was Mike Evans, about how don't look for Mike Evans to do nothing. And we get a lot of questions. Well, Mike Evans ended up with a great game, almost 100 yards and a touchdown. Well, Patrick Peterson got hurt.
Yep.
He went out with a quad injury. That touchdown that Evans caught was not on Patrick Peterson.
No.
So it was on Justin Bethel, I think. So, a lot of people don't look at that kind of stuff. Had Peterson been there the whole game, that probably would have been a touchdown for Evans. He's in single digits, and it's right. But, we're not, we don't have that almanac from Back to the Future.
No. Well,
sometimes we got like a version of it.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Like a mental version of it.
Exactly.
Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Let's get into the waiver wire. We got 2 bye weeks, only 2 teams this week. We got the Lions and the Texans.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few fantasy studs in there. Not a whole lot. Not like the past weeks. So if you got, Amir Abdullah, Matthew Stafford, Golden Tate's going to be missing some time now. He's not even on our list. He popped up. He left the game early, and he's going to miss multiple weeks.
Yeah.
They haven't released what the actual injury is yet. But you got your D-Hops, your Lamar Millers, your Will Fuller, best receiver in football, Will Fuller right now.
Evidently,
I guess. I don't know how, but he is. Not a whole lot out this week, but still some holes to plug with all these injuries.
It is, man.
Who's one of the top guys on your list?
Well, I went with Mr. Orleans Darkwa. He's 93% owned, but if you don't have him, to me, he seems like he's the clear-cut, lead in New York now. That show he put on last night against Denver, man, was pretty impressive. Denver's not a slouch, to say the least. And it looks like they're working Galliman in as like that third down back. Him, between him and Vereen. But 21 touches, 117 yards. He didn't get in the end zone, but again,
he tried.
But yeah, he's running strong, man, and I think they're gonna lean towards him to be that north-south type back, their workhorse. Take the pressure off Eli, so they can try to get that passing game going.
Do you think if the pressure was taken off Eli, he would still look like he's under pressure?
Yeah.
Looks can be deceiving.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, the way that Giants offense came out and looked, I mean, you'd think if they lost Sterling Shepard, Brandon Marshall, Odell Beckham, I think everybody on earth almost picked Denver to come in there and wipe the floor with them. And it didn't happen.
No, it didn't.
It didn't happen. They came out with a bunch of guys that nobody's really heard of and did a great job.
Yeah. Sometimes that helps. Cohesiveness of a team, man, is when you like that one?
You took a week off.
Exactly.
You used no big words last week.
Well, I got to use
hit
2.
the like button for the big words.
Please. So I got to use 2 this week.
2, that's right.
But, sometimes that adversity, man, it helps bring people together. I've seen it in several different situations in different genres of sports, man, but that could be a situation here in New York, having to spread the ball around people that they don't normally use. So, yeah. And
even if it doesn't do anything this year, it strengthens them for next year because they already know what they got.
Exactly.
I'm going to go with somebody who kind of mentioned earlier with the Fournette injury, Chris Ivory. This is somebody that at this point this week, I think is worth an ad.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to be able to start him unless news comes out about Fournette. But, I mean, he didn't do much on the ground this week. He had 9 receptions for 74 yards and a touchdown, though. And he's been running pretty good. He's not been getting a whole lot of opportunity.
Right.
Fournette's been taking everything. But which is rightfully so. I mean, the dude can't be stopped.
Yeah.
But if this ankle causes any type of issues, Chris Ivory's next in line.
Oh, yeah.
Not to say that Chris Ivory is the same talent as Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
But it's still a starting running back in the NFL on a team that relies heavily on the run.
Yeah.
So Chris Ivory, he's a stash. Pick him up. Don't play him unless Fournette's out, obviously. I mean, great line, 9 for 74 and a touchdown, but that's not going to happen every week.
No, that won't be consistent.
No. It's a great game, but pick him up. Fournette goes out, he's at minimum a solid flex play.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. I'm going to go with another guy, man. He's 61% owned right now, Mr. Nelson Agholor. He's been looking phenomenal. That whole offense, actually. Like, who would have thought at the beginning of the season, man, that, we'd be talking about Philadelphia being in contention, you know what I mean? But he seemed like he's been proven to be that second option, Ertz is number 1. Alshon's still there. But, of course, he's always drawing, that top cover guy.
I don't get Alshon really, though. I mean, he hasn't done much.
Yeah. I mean,
for as good as that offense is overall, he's just kind of blended in.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's in his head or what. You know what I mean?
It could be.
That's where Nelson's, coming in at, man. He's actually, he's caught 20 or 30 targets. He's got a total of 321 yards and 4 TDs thus far. So that's pretty impressive, man.
Yeah, especially since he was the guy who like a year or two ago couldn't catch anything.
Yeah.
I mean, had no idea. He had a case of the Amari Coopers.
Yes.
That's what he had. He's the original Amari Cooper. And Cooper did look better. I'll give him a little bit of credit, but still was nowhere near where he should be.
Exactly.
I'm going to go with 2 rookies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to kind of pair them together. I'm going to do a little rookie sandwich here.
Right.
Both of them are receivers. Both of them are almost more than likely available in your league.
Mm-hmm.
Corey Davis and Mike Williams.
Yeah.
Okay, Corey Davis has been out for a few weeks with a hamstring injury.
Mm-hmm.
Same injury he had in preseason where he missed. He comes back week 7.
Okay.
Mike Williams for the Chargers. First game was last week. Only had 1 catch for 15 yards, but he's going to be worked in slowly coming off of his injury. But both of these guys have the talent, and I think are on a team where they could utilize those talents come the second half of the year.
Oh, yeah.
If you got some of these guys who have gone out, the Emmanuel Sanders, even the Odell owners, and some of these big names that have been hurt, you have no other choice but to try to find upside at this point.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's just a crapshoot and take a shot in the dark.
Yeah.
These 2 guys have massive upside. They have decent second half schedules.
Right.
Both, if they are available in your league and you have a roster spot, definitely go scoop them up because they have the ability to have such a huge second half, like Michael Thomas last year.
Exactly.
If you never know if one of these guys is the second half Michael Thomas,
right?
Take it, pick them up, stash them. Once you see them start to get a little bit more involved, you never know. You could have yourself a hidden gem.
Hey, absolutely. And then, like I said, both of those guys are they're involved in a high-powered passing offense, so that's a plus as well. So
especially if Mariota can get healthy.
Yeah.
If Mariota is not healthy and he's not the type of quarterback he is, Davis kind of takes somewhat of a hit.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if Mariota is not able to scramble because of his hamstring injury, he's going to have to throw the ball more.
Yes.
More targets for Corey Davis.
I agree. I'm gonna go with a guy. He's 3% owned right now. Now, let me preface this by saying at first, I typically don't like to deal in this particular backfield.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Exactly.
Don't do it.
I got to do it, man.
You got to do it?
I got to do it.
This is deep league.
It's very deep. 14 team, 12, you know what I mean? But Dion Lewis. Dion Lewis, a couple of years ago, man, he was a thing. I mean,
for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4
exactly.
weeks.
I mean,
and then he gets hurt and Belichick forgets about him.
Yep, exactly.
Brings in 36 free agent running backs. Dion Lewis is forgotten about.
Yeah, but to me, it seems like that. Well, first of all, the whole Gillislee thing. I think that's
is that experiment over?
It's gone.
It's gone.
I don't know what they were thinking about as far as he is not going to be LeGarrette Blount. They're 2 totally different.
If that's what they wanted, why didn't they just keep Blount?
Exactly.
If that's what they were looking for somebody else, why pick up somebody else to fill the role of the guy that you currently have? Just keep him.
Who scored 18 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, he was a stud in that offense. It worked for them.
Yeah.
Gillislee, it's over.
It is. But, going back to Dion, I think what they're doing now is they want that surprise, because when Gillislee comes in, he hadn't had any targets whatsoever out of the backfield. So when you put in a Dion Lewis, a White, a Burkhead when he's healthy, they have that threat of coming out of the backfield or catching targets. But Dion's been catching a lot of targets here lately. This past game he had 11 targets for 52 yards and a TD. So, and in that offense, man, if Amendola's still banged up, Hogan got a little nicked up, so they're gonna look for extra targets, man. I mean, Grunt can't get them all. Well, he could.
He can get the majority of them,
but then he'll get hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but Dion Lewis, like I said, it's a deep throw. But I mean, he might be worth a stash just to see.
I think like we said weeks past, the only stable running back that I would ever really want there season long is James White. Is just because he's involved every game.
Yeah,
Dion Lewis had a great game, but I mean, you don't even know. I mean, what happens when Burkhead comes back?
Exactly.
I mean, you're back to square one again.
Yeah.
If Burkhead stays out, Dion Lewis I think has a little bit more value.
Yeah.
When Burkhead comes back, though, it goes back to the whole, Belichick on the sidelines just messing with everybody.
Yeah.
He has no idea what's going on. He's just like an evil little toy on the sideline trying to mess with everybody's fantasy knowledge.
He hates fantasy, I
think.
He
hates fantasy people. Yeah. But, to each his own. I'm going to go to the tight end position.
Okay.
Somebody who's not getting a whole lot of work, but he is becoming slowly one of the favorite targets of Mitch Trubisky, and it's Zach Miller. With all the tight end injuries that are going on, bad matchups, bye weeks, Zach Miller is kind of quietly. He's had multiple games with touchdowns. He's the red zone target for Trubisky. He only had 2 catches for 25 yards, but heck, in a PPR league, if you got 10 points out of Zach Miller, the stat line ain't great, but 10 points on the board, not so bad. Yeah, in a pinch. So, and as they play together more, that's going to grow. It's going to get better. Zach Miller's had great years in the past. It's worth a stash. If you need somebody now, is he going to come out and produce Gronk-esque numbers? Probably not.
Right.
Probably not. But if you just need a one or 2 week hole, Zach Miller is more than capable of coming in, filling a hole, and being serviceable. Yeah.
And then especially in that offense, man, they really don't have proven wide receivers. Kendall Wright. Yeah, so I agree, man.
You know what I like about Kendall Wright? He can get shut out the entire game. He can make a 12-yard catch as they're down by 20, and he celebrates like he's Jerry Rice. He thinks he's the greatest thing ever.
Hey, confidence is key.
I guess so. If I was down by 20 or whatever the game was, and I made 1 catch, I don't know if I'd be celebrating too much.
I don't think so.
But I'm also not an NFL player. So, yeah.
All right. Next, I'm going to go to a wide receiver. He's 16% on. That's Mr. Ted Ginn. Now, a lot of people that, they have Michael Thomas, and I like Michael Thomas a lot. But, I think it's I don't know. To me, it seems like he's having just a little bit of issue of being at number 1, or it could just be the second year. He's had phenomenal games. Don't get me wrong. But you just see a lot of target share going in different places. Whoever the second receiver is, but right now it's Ted Ginn. You had a few games. You had Brandon Coleman.
Slick Willie coming back.
Slick Willie's coming back. You know what I mean? And Kamara. Gosh, man. He's balling out of control.
Yes.
So, but Ted Ginn, he's got that speed that they were missing from Cooks.
He's got all the speed, not so much the hands.
True.
The hands seemed a little bit better.
Yeah.
He caught all 4 of his targets and all 4 of his,
Exactly.
His opportunities this week. It's just in the past he's always struggled with that.
Yeah.
And I can see him getting like what he got this week.
Yeah.
That's going to be the Ted Ginn type game.
Exactly.
I don't think that too many teams are going to let him beat him deep because they just know it's coming.
Right. But I think that keeps the defense honest. When you got that speedster, someone out there, and they can kind of loosen up a little bit on Thomas. And then, like you said, when Slick Willie finally gets back, and he's 100% healthy and really catches up with the offense. He's been out, 4 games? And then, so it's just going to be a little timing issue with Snead. But right now, as it stands, to me, I think Ted Ginn is that number 2 option.
Yeah, he's more than capable of holding it down.
Yeah.
Until Snead gets on track. But I also think the more Snead gets on track, the more attention he's going to take away, and the less that can be paid attention to Michael Thomas.
True.
So this may be something where Michael Thomas is going to have a decent first half and a big second half.
Yeah.
You're just going to have to be able to weather the storm of the 3 catches for 11 yards.
Right. Yeah.
That happened this week. I don't think it's going to happen very often.
No.
I don't think you're going to get, huge games from Michael Thomas. He may have a couple here or there, but, he's still a number 1 wide receiver.
Oh, yeah.
In one of the highest passing offenses in football.
Yeah.
I think only Snead coming back is only going to help him in the second half. Yeah. Until Snead gets back, up to speed, it is what it is. What you've gotten from Michael Thomas is what you're going to get so far.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw a name out there. And this is not somebody to put it the number 1 of your priority.
Right.
But it's something you need to listen to.
Okay.
Because this gentleman was supposed to miss multiple weeks with an injury.
Yep.
That was just 8 days ago when he got hurt.
Uh-oh.
Actually, it may have been closer to 10 days now. Whatever it was. 2 weeks ago. Whatever.
Right.
Charles Clay is talking about, he didn't practice today.
Yep.
But there's talk that he could be coming back soon. And Charles Clay was a top 5 tight end before he went out.
Yeah.
Charles Clay would get the same opportunity when he comes back.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan Matthews is coming back soon. Charles Clay has the trust of Tyrod already. You just keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have an open spot and you want to grab him early, I don't think he's going to play this week.
No.
But just watch it. I mean, heck, if you're hurting, that could be somebody that you pick up, wait a couple weeks, and he's ready to go.
Ready to get fired up.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. I mean, you can't pass on a talent like that. And plus, he's going to get all the targets. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many options.
Yeah.
Zay Jones hasn't quite done much. Charles Clay going to get it if he comes back.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to round mine off, man, with a guy who's 2% owned, and it's Mr. Matt Brieda.
Matt Brieda.
And my thing is, with the looming talks of Carlos being traded, which could possibly happen, I think the trade deadline is the 31st. It's just been a lot of times where there's smoke, there's fire. You know what I mean? And now they're 60-40, sometimes 50-50 split. So my thing is, I think they're looking at moving towards the future. Carlos stays hurt constantly. Matt's been playing well. I mean, he's a young guy. He fits better in that offense, I think, passing, running. So that's somebody you might want to just stash if you got a chance. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say pick him up and, he'd be your RB1.
Right.
But, I mean, it depending on the matchup, he's a great flex play. But especially if Carlos Hyde gets traded, Matt Brieda shoots, he shoots up to the top of the list. Yeah, I mean,
he'd be a top 15
Easy.
Back right around that.
Yeah.
And it is. I mean, it's possible. He could get traded. I mean, there's all these talks of more of a timeshare and trades. And
yeah.
I mean, that has to wear on you after a while. Carlos has got to be like, what do I got to do?
Exactly.
I mean, he's having a great year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's not doing bad at all.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, if he's available, he could be, out of all the rookie backs that are probably on the waiver wire, one of the first ones to get a job.
Right.
Where the job is his. He may be one of the best shots. Yeah. Something we didn't mention earlier at the top with the whole Zeke suspension.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a headache. I mean, he's suspended, he's not. He's suspended, he's not.
Man.
I don't know what it is. Yeah. I mean, as of right now, today, it seems like he's going to be suspended. That could change in a week. Who knows? I mean, they're on bye this past week, so who knows? I mean, but if Alfred Morris or Darren McFadden are available, they're worth a shot. Yeah. I mean, it depends on who you ask. Some people say Morris, some people say McFadden. Never know.
You never know with that. I mean,
and I don't think any of us are going to know until the games start.
Exactly.
I mean, once the games start, we'll be able to figure it out. But for now, if one of them is available, grab them.
Yeah.
If they're both available and you got 2 spots, grab them both. I mean, whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
You never know. I mean, you could have a fringe RB1 off the waiver wire for free.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth a chance. I mean, I'm with you, man. I'm tired of hearing about it. It's almost like when...
Just get it over with.
Yeah, when LeBron a few years ago, when they were like, where is he going? All this stuff. It's kind of that same thing. Like, you're tired of hearing about it all day, every day.
Yeah. So, I don't care anymore. If he's suspended, get it over with. If he's not suspended, put him back in. Whatever it is, I mean, I'm over it too. Yeah. It just gets old after a while.
Yeah.
It's a cowboy thing. What about JuJu?
I like JuJu.
You like the JuJu?
On that beat.
On that beat. Wow. I mean, that whole Pittsburgh offense, they looked better this week. Yeah. I'm not going to say they looked like how we thought they would look, but they looked better. Martavis Bryant seems to not be a part of the game plan.
Right.
There was rumors come out that he wanted to trade. And then he came out and said he didn't want to trade and he was happy.
Yeah.
And then other people still report that he wants to be traded. I think he wants to be there, but they're not using him. So he's kind of,
Yeah.
You know, I mean, JuJu's lined up in the slot and getting a lot of opportunities.
Yes.
He's somebody to look at. He only had 3 catches for 32 yards, but I mean, if he's in the slot for Pittsburgh and all the attention is being paid to the outside, he's going to eat in the middle for weeks to come.
Yes, indeed.
He's not a wide receiver 1 by any means.
No.
Probably more of a 3 to a 4.
Yeah.
But hey, and, in a pinch, if you got him on your roster, put him in there at flex. If you're in a 3 or 4 wide receiver league, I mean, JuJu's not a bad option.
No.
JuJu Smith-Schuster.
Exactly.
Plus, it's fun to say.
Yeah.
Smith-Schuster.
Do it. Leave that to you.
It can be your second big word for the day.
No, I'm going to wait on that.
But no, pick him up if he's out there. Stash him. Don't start him yet.
Exactly.
We'll touch base on one other person just because I know we watched a lot of film today because I know we're going to get this question a bunch. Okay, so Aaron Rodgers is out.
Yeah.
Brett Hundley is in.
Yes.
Brett Hundley was a very well-established college quarterback.
Yeah.
The Packers traded up to get him. Mm-hmm. They let Scott Tolzien go because they had him.
Exactly.
So they believe in him.
Mm-hmm.
He's, getting a pretty good offense. He's not just walking into, Scrapsville here. I mean, he's getting a trio of receivers, a couple solid running backs, a solid tight end. Mm-hmm. Brett Hundley may not be bad.
Like, he's not playing for the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, he's got somebody other than Kenny Britt to throw to.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Jordy, Randall Cobb, Devontae Adams, Michael Bennett. Did I just say Michael Bennett?
Yeah.
Martellus Bennett. I mean, Michael Bennett, I guess he could play tight end. He's a better defensive lineman.
Yeah.
But, Martellus Bennett.
Yes.
The
Black Unicorn.
That's right, the Black Unicorn. He could see a little bit of an uptick now.
Yeah.
A quarterback who's new to the system, not new to the system, but new to starting. Mm-hmm. There's going to be times where he's pressured. They're going to pressure him.
Yeah.
And he's going to do a lot of quick dump-off passes. Usually that's where the tight ends and the slot receivers, benefit.
It's
Brett
funny.
Hundley may not be bad.
When you, I was watching film on him and everything, studying it. But it's funny to see even this past preseason, when he was running with the twos and stuff. And now you see a lot of those guys leaked into the main offense, like Jones, Geronimo. Allison. Exactly. So they connected a lot. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of one of those situations, man, where when it first happens, you're like, oh man, what Mm-hmm. But I think with time, man, I think he'll be okay. Some of the similarities, and I know people are like, well, what does this have to do with things? It's kind of crazy to see how similar, like him and Aaron are. They both in the third year got the start. They both one of the great quarterbacks, Favre being for Rodgers, and of course Rodgers being for Brett. And they both had that start against Minnesota. That's kind of crazy.
That's kind of weird.
It is kind of weird. You know what I mean? They both played in the Pac-12. Aaron, of course, played for SoCal and Brett for UCLA. This is what's intriguing with me. I didn't know Brett was a school leader on total offense and touchdown passes. And that was over Troy Aikman.
Troy Aikman, he was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, he was...
he's all right.
He was decent.
Yeah.
Even though he played for Dallas. Mm-hmm. But so, I mean, the guy's got...
He's got skill. He's got talent.
Skill. I just think he needs time. You know what I mean? I mean, he was tutored under Aaron Rodgers for, these 2.5 years. So, I mean, he knows the offense. Mm-hmm. I think he would fit in better versus bringing in another veteran who has to learn the whole, ins and outs of that. Yep.
And I'm sure a lot of people are seeing this as great. I just lost Devontae Adams' value. Mm-hmm. I just lost Jordy Nelson's value. I think it's obviously you lose Aaron Rodgers, you take a little bit of a hit.
Yeah.
But it's possible that Hundley picks up and is decent enough to still make those guys, fantasy studs. They may not be top 5 anymore, but I'll take top 15 still.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're more than capable of doing it. He's got the talent to do it. Like you said, he just needs some time.
That's it.
And with time, you never know. I mean, he gets a whole week of practice with the ones.
Right.
Works, gets some of the timing down. Mm-hmm. He comes out with New Orleans this week. New Orleans' defense has improved. They're not the laughing stock anymore.
No.
But they're still going to be in Green Bay at home. He's going to come into the game knowing he's got the start.
Yeah.
He'll have the confidence. I actually like Brett Hundley this week. I'm not going to say pick him up and play him.
Right.
But I don't think he's going to hurt the other people on that team very much.
And I think that whole thing with New Orleans, it was a little skewed for the simple fact that, I mean, what was the score, like 35, 38, something like that? So Stafford still scored on a bad leg.
I think they got up to 50. Yeah. The defense was just scoring left and right.
Yeah. So it wasn't the fact that they shut anybody down. They still scored on this defense. So I'm not saying that, be fearful just because it's the Saints.
No.
I don't think the Saints have been like a shutdown defense since Sam Mills was playing. I went back on that one. But
whoa. That was way back.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to get into the last segment here, our popular segment that we like to call the Player of the Week. Like every week, there's always a couple. Yeah. But I'm going to go with somebody who burned me personally. He was not on my team,
right?
But I told a lot of people to look at this guy this past week. Terrell Pryor, what the was that?
Yeah.
I mean, you got, the San Francisco 49ers.
Man. Yeah.
After you were on a bye week, Cousins threw for 330 yards, but you managed 3 for 23. I don't get it. And that's the 25th rated secondary, and you put up 3 for 23 with all that talent in a game where your quarterback was successful. Terrell Pryor. What the heck was that?
Yeah. It boggles my mind, man. I don't get it. He's got all the attributes, all the skill. I don't understand. I think it's just they hadn't got on the same page yet. You know what I'm saying? And to his credit, okay, this is only his second year being a receiver. I get it. But still, man, come on now. You got too much talent.
Yeah.
No.
As far as I'm concerned, if you got Terrell Pryor, bench by all means. If there's better options available at this point, I won't even be on, against you dropping him.
Right.
I mean, I hate to say that because he's so talented.
Yeah.
If you got room, yes, keep him. If you have an immediate need,
yeah. I mean,
it happens.
It happens.
This is his year.
Yeah.
So that's the WTF Player of the Week.
Yeah. I actually got a quick one, man. I was going to use Mr. Hundley, but just quickly, mine is AD.
Okay.
Mr. All Day, Adrian Peterson. And I just quickly wanted to say, I'm happy to see his success. A lot of people were saying, he's not going to do this, blah, blah, blah. Well, he just hadn't been able to. He wasn't given the opportunity in New Orleans. I don't fully understand the whole situation, why he went there or whatever the situation was. But now I feel like he's in an offense that will run the ball, will give him the carries, and I think he'll be successful, man. So
yeah, he could have a big year.
Yeah.
I actually made a bet with somebody on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
About him. Yep. I'm not going to call him out because right now it's looking pretty good for me. But yeah,
okay.
He's probably watching.
Yeah.
He knows who he is.
Right.
He'll remember.
Right.
He looked great.
Hey.
He looked great. And if he can continue, I mean, as a Cardinals fan growing up there, I like to see it too. Him and Fitzgerald in the same field is pretty exciting.
That'd be awesome.
That's like a storybook right there.
Exactly.
Storybook ending.
Man, 3 old men and a football.
That's right. All right, well, that wraps up the Waiver Wire show. We appreciate you guys watching. Totally appreciate all the support. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Yeah. I mean, comments. Our comments have been blowing up.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, you can go look at it for yourself. Go look at last week's videos.
Yeah.
We answered every single comment from every single person.
Yeah.
We don't, we're not going to just sit there, we're too big to answer your questions.
Right.
Listen, we're busy.
Yeah.
We're answering all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Every single question got answered on there last week.
Yeah.
If you got one, hit us up. If we don't respond right that second, we'll get to you. We're not going to forget about you. But make sure you're telling everybody, you're liking, sending those comments, looking at our website. We appreciate the love.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to y'all later. Have a good rest of your week.
Peace.
Bye.